Everyone, it is August 6, 2023. Hello, Cecilia and Haskason and Ms. Blanche, Barb in Ohio, Linty, London, Oracle 11, seek and ye shall find, and okay, Hypocrites Matrix, hello, Mike Luft, Rage Against the Machine. Hi everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Analog Synth Player, and big shout out to Sherry Hughes and Marty Lauderdale. Thank you very much. So the weather outside is frightening, and it looks like I might be getting another thunderstorm. Maybe not, maybe yes. We had one today. It was the thunder. Goes on forever. Very weird sounding. Torrential downpours. It should be raining right now here, but it's not. So that's why I have said, looking at radar, you cannot tell if it's raining or if it's radar blasting the atmosphere. But this is where I am, right about here. So it looks like they have tempered these thunderstorms swinging out of Alabama into Georgia with quite the speed, right? Quite the speed. Circling around here in Minnesota, in Iowa. Whoop. Come on, you can do it faster. Come on. One more. Okay, good. And the YouTube meteorologists are on it. I saw a couple of them. They're doing it live for tornadoes, hail storms, look at this storm. It's from Mississippi, and it goes on, and it takes a little bit of a turn, and on its way to Canada. Yeah. That's natural. That's really natural. I do have captures, and I can't even remember why I have the captures, so let's just take a look at the captures, and maybe it will jog my memory. Let's see. What? I thought I captured today, but I guess I didn't. Okay. Well, then let's just move on. All right. Just in, I want to thank my subscriber for sending this along. Crews respond to fire at plastic storage facility in Mesa del Sol, Albuquerque. Oh, yeah, the storm is coming. I'm hearing the thunder. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yay, another fabulous toxic fire. Plastic. City has issued a warning for people to avoid the area. Stay inside, keep windows and doors closed. The winds are unpredictable. The fire is not contained. Oh, wow. Well, it is what it is. It ain't good, but it is what it is. Nothing says America like big. And our fires are big. So thank you, Christine, for sending this along. I just got it before going live. House collapses into river as floods rage in Alaska.
All right, let's get to that breaking news that I was just talking about coming out of Alaska. Nature's fury unleashed. What's this?
Oh, there goes, there goes.
Stunning images there,
There goes.
to say the least. Unbelievable to watch an entire home crumbling there. That is just one example of the severe flooding that is devastating parts of Juneau. But this is no ordinary flood, by the way. This is climate change on full display. NBC's Priscilla Thompson is tracking it for us. Priscilla.
This is climate change, okay? Did you hear that? This is climate change. They're pounding it into people's heads. And if anybody says anything differently, just call them a conspiracy theorist and run away. Wow. Well, sure as hell can't listen to that crap. But yeah, houses going into rivers. It seems to be, well, this house, this apartment building, uninhabitable. And there are several apartment complexes along this river in Alaska that are no longer habitable. The city of Rutland, Vermont. Now, you do remember all of the flooding in Vermont? Well, they had a flash flood on Friday.
Continuing to cause flash flooding and damages across our region, with the city of Rutland perhaps seeing the most impacts from Friday's storms. NBC5's Stephen Biddick spent the day there and has the latest on recovery efforts.
The city of Rutland seeing over 3 inches of rain in just a couple hours' time Friday night, leading to flash flooding in parts of the city.
We had an overwhelming amount of rain in a really short period of time, right? In less than a couple hours. I mean, the intensity of the rain was mostly 1 hour, and then it was floodwaters rising after that.
Local leaders say the constant precipitation is not allowing for sediment to dry, so they're extremely susceptible to flash flooding.
I mean, this is unlike anything I've seen in Rutland in the past 10 years, right? Heavy rain in the summer is typical, but we've had so much heavy rain this summer that I think the ground is saturated and we just couldn't handle this much rain in a short period of time.
Clover and South Main Street were some of the hardest areas hit. The flooding led to roughly 20 water rescues throughout the evening and night by the state's Urban Search and Rescue Task Force along with the Rutland Fire Department.
I am more and more convinced that the HAARP-like facilities all over the world, and HAARP itself, and the scalar technology that they have, that this water is coming from the ground up, not from the clouds down. Both, actually, I should say. Because I've seen too many broadcasts where people are saying, that it just suddenly appeared and suddenly they have 1, 2, 3 feet of water in their house. That is not happening even from these torrential downpours, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, it's my opinion. But they're bringing up the primary water from, that's my coffee maker. They're bringing up the primary water from, I have to speak over it. It's too loud. From underneath. This is Slovenia. I mean, it's heartbreaking to see this. The massive, massive destruction that they are bringing about, which is causing massive suffering. Wow. This is Ireland.
Not what you'd expect to wake up to on a Saturday morning. 18 apartments at the Auburn complex and approximately 17 houses at the Castle Court housing estate in Clontarf evacuated following flash flooding in this area of North Dublin.
As I looked across, it was rising up to nearly the letterboxes over there in like 5 minutes. Well, it was pandemonium because they had to stay upstairs. They couldn't get out. And boats came along then. The fire department came and they took them out in boats. Some elderly people across the road.
So my car was parked here and I luckily just got in and moved it. It was like a river flowing through and it was just non-stop. But then, her poor car was under ground in the car park there and it was under 11 foot of water.
I am 30-odd, nearly 40 years down. I never seen this, but
It's estimated at least 25 people live in the Auburn apartment block. They were all immediately evacuated and are currently in temporary accommodation in the Crow Park Hotel. There was up to 3 metres of floodwater in the basement car park of the block, where at least 15 cars were parked. The flooding happened extremely quickly this morning. One local resident telling me he left the housing estate at 8:20 and by the time he returned just before 9 o'clock, there was at least 3 feet of water. There's many elderly people living here, some who had to be evacuated, assisted by Dublin Fire Brigade. 8 people were rescued from their homes by the fire brigade using boats and inflatable rescue sleds. 1 person was taken to hospital. The others who were evacuated were able to wade through the water and leave their homes on foot.
A lot of water coming from an area at the back of the apartment block at the back of Castle Court. There was a lot of residents and houses that were struggling to get out. We assisted to take 8 people out of the houses. We went down and also assisted the apartment block to get some people out of the apartment block also. Suppose maybe the downpour area this morning and all the water seemed to end up in this location that we're in. I haven't seen it too much in my career that it happened that quick in this small location.
That quick.
It could be a number of days yet before the residents of the apartments will be able to return. For those living in the flooded houses, the task now is the clean-up.
Wow, so many people around the world are just dealing with being evacuated, displaced. Mongolia.
Flood in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. Ulaanbaatar, the capital city of Mongolia, is currently facing a serious problem in the form of flooding. Prolonged heavy rainfall has caused a significant amount of water to overflow from the rivers flowing through the city. This has resulted in major flooding in various areas of Ulaanbaatar. The flood has had a severe impact on the residents of Ulaanbaatar. Many houses have been submerged and agricultural lands have been damaged. As a result, many people have been forced to evacuate to safer areas to avoid the dangers of the flood. Infrastructure damage. The flood has also caused damage to the city's infrastructure, such as roads and bridges. Several roads that are usually busy with traffic are now submerged and difficult to pass through, leading to severe traffic congestion. Distributed to those in need. Additionally, efforts to clean up and repair the infrastructure are underway, with the possibility of future floods. This includes improving drainage. Better prevention efforts need to be undertaken to address the threat of future floods.
You think? Better prevention? Oh, here it comes. The rain. Here it comes. Yep. I knew they would move it in. Alright, but it still could get a thunderstorm, but it seems to be tamer than what's happening here in Alabama. Whoa! Alabama just for a little bit and then boom, into Georgia. Alright. I'm sure I'll get the rumblings of thunder. So, now, L78 on this channel, you never got your wrench, but I don't want you to feel like you have to moderate. You became a moderator because you said in the chat that, oh, I'm glad I'm not a moderator, because there were an awful lot of comments that you probably wanted to just remove. So, but I never lose truth. One, you're a moderator. I'm so afraid of people taking things personally. So I don't want you to feel like I'm forcing you to be a moderator. None of that is true. Okay, but thank you. Experts reveal another hidden secret about Beijing's flood discharge. Sounds a little like Hurricane Harvey.
Experts reveal another hidden secret about Beijing's flood discharge. Significant flash floods swept across Beijing's Fangshan district in Mintugu on July 31st. In response to these conditions, the Yongding and Juma rivers initiated the release of floodwaters. Consequently, the nearby Zhuizhou area in Hebei province faced the brunt of these deluges overnight, causing significant damage and trapping a large number of citizens. Following that, on August 1st, a coordinated flood release was carried out across 8 reservoirs in Beijing's Chongping and Pinggu districts, in addition to the Yongding River's simultaneous flood discharge. Unfortunately, this exacerbating action only intensified the calamitous situation in Zhuizhou. Representatives from the Zhuizhou Emergency Management Bureau conceded to media outlets that the upstream flood release originating from Beijing significantly elevated water levels in the Zhuizhou region. This development ignited a heated public discourse, with some asserting that Beijing's deliberate discharge of floodwater towards Hebei's territories serves the purpose of protecting the even more downstream Xiong'an region. Wang Weiluo, an expert in land resources and water conservation based in Germany, conveyed his insights during the Elite Forum program. Wang Weiluo highlighted the significant investment of both time and resources, amounting to 6 years and 30 billion yuan, about $4.187 billion, in constructing a flood control system for the Xiong'an area. Li Jun, an esteemed independent TV producer, further shed light on the significance of Xiong'an to Xi Jinping and its political implications. Li Jun.
Oh, political implications. I'm having a hard time hearing because we're getting torrential downpour now, and I don't want to raise it because a whole lot of people are claiming that the videos are too loud. So, whatever was said in this broadcast, I'm sure it was the truth. Whatever. Here, around 4,000 UK scouts have been evacuated from the World Scout Jamboree in South Korea to hotels in the capital due to the heat wave in Seoul. Are you flipping kidding me?
We knew that the site had flooding issues before they even left the UK. The site wasn't quite as prepared as it should have been. Potentially, lack of food, lack of shade, not very good sanitation. And in actual fact, that's one of the decisions why the UK Scouts Association have pulled the UK participants from there. They are the largest contingent at the event, and by pulling them out, that's helped to alleviate the stress of the situation for other people. So hopefully by pulling the UK people out, there is more, the other participants will be able to enjoy that experience.
Oh, how selfless of you. How selfless. So you pull the 4,000 scouts out because of a heat wave and lack of sanitation, and that doesn't sound like Seoul, but whatever. What do you say anymore? Just whatever. Whatever. Climate experts criticize alarmist rhetoric over summer temperatures. Another climate expert that don't listen to because mainstream media doesn't interview Myron Ebell, director and senior fellow at the Center for Energy and Environment. Don't listen to him because he's not on mainstream media, okay? He said, yes, June was hot, July was hot globally, but not through the roof. The planet is not boiling. Southern Europe has been very hot, but not everywhere is having record high temperatures. And, this is on Zero Hedge, which I'm not going to link below because YouTube hits you with your community guideline strikes when you leave certain links. But yeah, check out this article. Other experts are noted here, but Evel also said, if you believe the consensus climate scientists, then the urban heat island effect doesn't really amount to much, but in fact it does. And even fairly small places with asphalt will experience that effect. Where do they take the temperature? Hell, they may as well just lay a thermometer on black asphalt in mid-afternoon when there's no clouds and that white sun is burning down on it. I mean, it's so ridiculous, and all that is needed is for people to do a little bit of research. But why? I'm smart. I watch mainstream media. Look at this tornado. This is natural? Really? Do you know that they can load tornadoes from up above? They can load a tornado to make it bigger and stronger. Well, let's just say that is a tornado that I'm just not used to seeing. And here, tornadoes can generate wind speeds of up to 300 miles per hour. I bet they can even generate wind speeds that are even higher than that when man is controlling those electromagnetic frequencies. Mysterious land acquisition group sues farmers after buying land surrounding Air Force Base. Well, this is the addendum to that mysterious company that bought $800 million worth of land that abuts the Air Force Base, an agricultural land acquisition company that is reported to have bought up land on 3 sides of a major U.S. Air Force base in California is now suing the farmers who sold them the land. Wow. How does this work? You would think that a judge would dismiss this on summary judgment. But, okay. Flannery Associates spent nearly $800 million to buy the land surrounding Travis Air Force Base, then filed a $510 million lawsuit in May against the farmers. The suit is likely a tactic to financially destroy the farmers. Yet another tactic. Some of the families that Garamendi spoke to did not want to sell to Flannery, but the company made them offers for huge amounts. Flannery's lawsuit accuses the farmers of conspiring to inflate the price of the farms. It's a suit designed to force the farmers to lawyer up, spend tens of thousands of dollars on lawyering, and maybe at the end of the day, bankrupt themselves. In fact, that has happened to at least one family that I know, and I've heard rumors that another family simply said, we can't afford the lawyers. Oh, all of these tactics being used to destroy the little guy. Farmers. Biden Energy Secretary secretly consulted top Chinese energy official before the SPR release of our oil. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve. That's the SPR. And funny, this was the Hunter Biden-linked Chinese energy giant. So our secretary, Jennifer Granholm, who is so disgusting and corrupt, Granholm's previously undisclosed talks with China National Energy Administration Chairman revealed in internal Energy Department calendars obtained by Americans for Public Trust and shared with Fox News Digital, revealed that the Biden administration likely discussed its plans to release oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve with China before its public announcement in the U.S. Yes, China's Communist Party learned what Biden would be doing before the U.S. did. Secretary Granholm's multiple closed-door meetings with the Chinese Communist Party-connected energy official raised serious questions about the level of Chinese influence on the Biden administration's energy agenda. All countries working in cahoots to bring in the New World Order. Look at our Strategic Petroleum Reserve. So Granholm leaks U.S. energy policy to China, right here, and boom, we go down. And guess what? The Biden administration is not filling up that reserve. Ooh, are we going to have an oil crisis here in the United States? For sure. Instead of focusing on creating real energy independence for America, Granholm has been too busy parroting Chinese energy propaganda and insisting we can all learn from what China is doing. Yes, the public deserves to know the extent to which Chinese officials are attempting to infiltrate U.S. energy policy and security. Well, the public has to get engaged. It was unclear just how the Department of Energy is solving climate crisis and addressing climate change by engaging with China when Chinese CO2 emissions are double those of the U.S. and rising exponentially. Look at these CO2 emissions. Wow! The green is China, the red is United States. Okay, well, it's all very interesting, isn't it? Climate change, it's an existential threat. All right. What is the real agenda behind these Sustainable Development Goals and this climate change narrative that we're hearing almost 24/7 now?
Nations Agenda 21, Sustainable Development. It is the inventory and control plan. Inventory and control of all land, all water, all minerals, all plants, all animals, all construction, all means of production, all food, all energy, all information, and all human beings in the world. And this is a plan that was agreed to by 179 nations back in 1992. It's a United Nations plan. It's called the Agenda for the 21st Century. And so many of us around the world think that sustainable development, it just sounds so great. Isn't it about recycling and creative reuse and creating energy and food resources for everyone? And the answer is no, it really is not. It's about moving populations into city centers, concentrated city centers, and clearing them out of the rural areas. It's constructed of non-governmental organizations, corporations, and government in order to dictate and regulate what it is that happens around the world. Regionalization is the stepping stone to globalization, and globalization is the standardization of all systems. All systems have to be brought into harmony in order to control them all. And the goal of Agenda 21 is one world government and total control from a central unit. The principles are public-private partnerships, which is fascism. And this is how it's implemented on the ground, is through this joining together between corporations, non-governmental organizations, and governments in order to cut out the actual individual, your voter, and instead to take that to a level where we literally cannot penetrate. This is a corporatocracy. It's a totalitarian state being developed right now all over the world. While we are moving towards the end game, we are not there. And this is the opportunity that all of us have now to stand up, to speak out. We are free, and we need to continue to be free. And I do believe that we will win, but we have to become aware that there is a fight.
Yeah, how about become aware that there is a fight? Yes, I agree, Jay Northrup. Rest in peace, Rosa. And I can't remember when Rosa Koire died. I think it was sometime last year, or it might now be 2 years. But that was a loss to this community. We've had other losses, but it's really very, very sad. Very sad. She educated an awful lot of people, and a whole lot of people, even those that are awake, don't understand that it's a fight. And we all need to join in.
Malaysia's former Prime Minister, Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, said that the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or TPPA, is a New World Order strategy by a powerful pact of people led by the US to dominate the world economy. Speaking at the international conference titled New World Order, Recipe for Peace or War, organized by the Perdana Global Peace Foundation, Dr. Mahathir said globalization and borderless trade are being used to establish a one-world government.
Basically, it is about having a world government. We should abolish all states, all nations, all borders, but instead have only one world government. And that world government is to be by certain people, elites, people who are very rich, very intelligent, very powerful in many ways. They are the ones who will govern the world. There was not much talk about democracy or choice of leaders. Instead, there was to be a government by these elites who will impose their rules on everyone in this world. And for those who are unwilling to submit to them, there will be punishment. And the peace that we will get from this is the peace of the graveyard, because the intention also is to reduce the number of people in this world. At the time when the New World Order was enunciated, the population of this world was only 3 billion. The intention was to reduce it to 1 billion. Now the population of the world is 7 billion. There will be a need to kill many billions of people, or to starve them to death, or to prevent them from giving birth, in order to reduce the population of this world.
Quite right.
Who authored The Limits to Growth, 1972?
We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you!
This was the Club of Rome's seminal report on population, laying the groundwork for UN Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030.
We're able to edit out all the stuff you don't like. I can speak honestly. So usually speaking, something which happened in the past could happen again, generally. So that could happen, or epidemics. I mean, I don't know what it will be, but in one way or another, we are so far, globally, we are so far above the population and the consumption levels which can be supported by this planet that I know in one way or another it's going to come back down. So I don't hope.
So go. Go. If you think there's too many people, get rid of you and your cronies and all of your friends and family. Get rid of them. Do something. Sacrifice. This is such an existential threat. How dare you? Go.
Hope to avoid that. I hope that it can occur in a civil way, and I mean civil in a special way. Peaceful. Peace doesn't mean that everybody's happy. The planet can support something like 1 billion people, maybe 2 billion, depending on how much liberty and how much material consumption you want to have. If you want more liberty and more consumption, you have to have fewer people. And conversely, you can have more people. I mean, we could even have 8 or 9 billion probably if we have a very strong dictatorship, which is smart. But if you had a smart dictatorship and a low standard of living, you can have it. But we want to have freedom and we want to have a high sentence, so we're going to have 1 billion people. And we're now at 7, so we have to get back down.
So we have to get back down. And he hopes that it can be done in a civil manner. To kill off 6 billion people. Do it civilly and peacefully.
I hope that this can be slow, relatively slow, and that it can be done in a way which is relatively equal, so that people share the experience. But that's what lies ahead.
He's telling the truth. Oh my God, these people are so arrogantly psychopathic. It is beyond belief. There is no way that any even decent human being can put themselves in the shoes of these people and try to imagine how they exist. Disgusting. Oh, and NIH-funded study just vaccinated a human using genetically modified mosquitoes. They're going to get that M, and then there were 3 other letters that I can't remember what they were, into all of us. Into all of us. We use the mosquitoes like they're 1,000 small flying syringes. The mosquitoes gave minor versions of malaria that didn't make people sick, but gave them antibodies. Efficacy from the antibodies lasted a few months, so I guess you're going to have to get bitten by a mosquito over and over. Each participant received $4,100 as an incentive to get their arm put in to a little cage and get bit by mosquitoes. Researchers say the genetically modified mosquitoes will not be used at large. So you believe them, okay? Take them at their word. They won't be used at large to vaccinate millions of people. The reason why mosquitoes were used instead of syringes, they claim, was to save costs. Because syringes are very expensive. Wow. Narcissistic, demonic Jesuits and Freemasons. Club of Rome. Yep. Rage. Yep. Oh, okay, so those mosquitoes, don't worry, because they're not going to be used at large. So that mosquito that bit you, we don't have mosquitoes here, which is North Georgia, the Blue Ridge Mountains, in the woods, and I'm waiting for a mosquito throughout the entire summer. Not one. Okay, that's unusual, to say the least, but maybe they're getting rid of all of the mosquitoes that are not syringes, so that they can dump the mosquitoes that are the needled syringe coming at you, so they don't have to worry about who might not have gotten the vaccine. As well, NIH research matters. So this article came out 2023, July 31, just about a week ago, and I'll put the link in. They're putting vaccines in an awful lot in our foods, in cows and pigs and everything that we eat. Bananas, I posted videos on the fruits that are vaccine laced. Mosquitoes. 2023, but they've been at this for a while. Universal mosquito vaccine tested. This is 2020. NIH research matters. I'll put the link in should you want to, I don't know, do something with it. Oh boy. Yeah. Well, the evil has taken over. Took over a long time ago. So I posted a video on my Never Lose Truth 5 video channel on the Oregon dogs that apparently are coming down with some kind of illness very, very quickly, needing oxygen, and this is the update.
Give you an update. First of all, thank you all so much for the support that you have shown me and my organization, and of course my animals. Unfortunately, we are still in a very bad spot. I am in front of my vet's office right now. We just dropped off 9 more dogs that are having breathing issues. I'd like you to know that the vets are full. This, unfortunately, I wish it was only happening to us. This is everyone in our area. That's Molly, you here breathing like that? It's okay. This is everyone in our area. We just never saw this coming. No one has dealt with anything like this. This virus, whatever this is, isn't from Oregon, and it's just extremely scary. Lily is still in the ICU. She still needs oxygen to breathe. We have other dogs headed there. We have ordered 4. We've had to order 4 oxygen chambers that will be arriving at the sanctuary in the next 24 hours because there is no room to put any more dogs on oxygen in any of the emergency vets or any of the vets within a 100-mile radius. So we have literally purchased, because of your support, we have purchased oxygen chambers, and we will buy more if necessary. Please, if you're able to donate, for as long as you've been...
I'm shutting it off right there because he posted another update. This is the Asher House, which I will post the link to the video. The latest update is a good one.
Today is rescue day, and this is a little tough, although I'm really grateful for this opportunity. It's been a little over a month since Maeve has passed away. We get this email about this Frenchie breeder who is not going to be breeding anymore. Convinced the family to give us the adults. They're still going to sell them.
I'm sorry.
Hey everyone.
This is the update. I'm sorry. Some positive updates. We are getting through this and on the road to recovery.
I have a couple updates for you. Lily is back. Here's Lily right here. She's doing a lot better. She's breathing better. Because of your support, we were able to get 4 oxygen chambers. So we have Shelby in one and Cece in one. Sorry, it's a little loud in here. They're a little loud. The oxygen chambers, not the dogs. I'm very happy that Lily is home. I wanted to let you guys know we don't want to take more than what we need. Because of your support already, we do not need any more donations. We were able to cover all of our vet bills. We were able to purchase these oxygen chambers. We are extremely grateful for everyone's support and everything you've done, and we truly don't need any more. I can't believe how many of you showed up, and it just means so much to me. So I will do a longer post and go into more detail and updates, but all the dogs are here at the sanctuary. We have no more dogs at the vets or in ICU. They are in recovery. I will let you know, Lady got a biopsy done on her lung. She got 20% of her lung removed. When we get those results back, we will have way more answers, and I will give you guys updates. And I know a lot of you have been taking your dogs to the vet. I mean, I want you to know, when I say there were no signs, I want you to know that there were no signs before it was too late, basically. So I did see the dogs coughing, and that's when we would see, or they weren't eating, and that's when we found out about the pneumonia. So I don't want you to worry that it's happening to your dog. If your dog is eating and not coughing and is not appearing sick, please do not worry, okay?
Okay, so what is going on in Oregon that so many dogs are coming down with essentially the same symptoms, needing this oxygen? I guess it's pneumonia? How many? I mean, look, I grew up in the era where dogs roamed pretty freely, except that I grew up in the city, and so, no, they didn't roam. But, yeah, in rural areas, dogs were just let out. They didn't come down with human illnesses. Same with cats. But now, well, vaccines have a lot to do with this, and vets sure do push those things. But I'm not sure, I can't say definitively, but it doesn't sound as if this is related to vaccines. You know, and he's talking about all of these vets, their emergency rooms, dogs needing the oxygen, they're all filled up. It's not just happening to him, it's happening to other people. So is something in the air? Wow. Well, I posted this before coming live. Cat food. This is Rachel Ray's chicken. Cat food? All right. You'll see at the end. It's completely clean, where the cat food that I've laid out for them for a month now, just about going on a month, every single day, up until when I go to sleep, I'll bring it in. Not one ant have I seen. But lately, I've been seeing no more than 2 bees. This is just 1 bee now, but no more than 2. They're eating the cat food? Every day, I see 1 or 2 bees. No ants whatsoever. So what is going on? What is going on? Yes, babe came home. Thanks, Cecilia. And I'm not leaving until Wednesday. Yes. Delays. So, I don't know if you saw I played some of this video last night. Something big is up, guys. We got to talk now. With Daniel, Logic Before Authority, and he's going through, all of these people on the earthquake map. Though when you click on, it's not an earthquake, but people who are reporting feeling these vibrations in their homes or businesses or just out and about. Well, reading the comments, wow. 3,192 comments. Let me refresh and see.
Lately.
And this was just posted 2 days ago. 146,000 views with 3,247 comments. I'm going to read some of these comments, but I'm going to also put the link in the chat because you may very well want to read the comments yourself. Very interesting what is taking place. To hear other people talk about no insects, not seeing wildlife here in Scotland, UK. The atmosphere is heavy with electromagnetic fields, which is causing my balance to go off alongside feeling like I can't breathe. I have felt the depletion of oxygen here, not horribly, but I'll notice it that, it's taking a little bit more effort to breathe, but my balance has been off as well. My balance has been off to the point where I'm like, okay, I don't know, just equilibrium off. Okay, sorry for interrupting, but he goes on to say, or she goes on to say, I don't know, my whole body feels very heavy, as if gravity is pulling me down. It's like I'm wearing lead weight boots. I have felt that. My vision is affected also. My vision is getting really bad. He says, or she, everything looks blurry or wavy. I feel much better inside, although sometimes my stomach feels like it's being microwaved with ripples of hot energy coursing through me. It's gotten worse in the past 6 months. Something big is coming. Instincts warn me. 237 replies. I'm in Scotland too, but don't have that. It's just very humid and wet for this time of year just now. I'm guessing all this stuff is something to do with what's been going on in China last week. Okay. I'm wondering if the ocean is not moving, if that means that there is no fish in the water to move it. What? All right, I read better comments, but in North Carolina, in the mountains, this person hears no sounds or shaking, but the strange thing here is the missing wildlife and insects. I am right at the border of North Carolina. At least 1/3 are just gone, and few people seem to even notice. A whole lot of people are talking about how dead their areas are. Like I have been saying, I live in a dead zone. What's happening? No birds. And I don't know when that started. I have not seen a bird in at least 2 to 3 weeks. No squirrels, no ants coming up for the cat food, nothing. Excuse me. Here, we just moved from Asheville to Rome, Georgia, and I used to tell my husband the same thing. There's hardly ever a squashed bug on our windshield when driving, but plenty of bugs here in Georgia. So I don't know where Rome, Georgia is, but it's obviously not here. I noticed the same thing in Kentucky. Noticing that there are no sounds of shaking, but the strange thing is the missing of wildlife and insects. I live in a small rural town in southwest BC, Canada. We always have a bad mosquito season every year. Barely any mosquitoes this year. Same here in central Indiana. No wildflowers on the sides of the roads anymore. No bugs on windshields. My heart leaps with joy when I see a butterfly. I'm almost 50 years old and haven't left my hometown much. The differences are real. The heat here in South Carolina is off the chart. Super humidity, many problems apparently on the way. I've seen a single honeybee finally when our rose of Sharon blossomed. Not many bugs on the windshield, but don't drive in the country, but small town, okay. My mother in Alabama said that the birds would disappear for weeks. No sign of them. Made her feel strange. I'm in Louisiana, and I feel movement below my feet constantly. With it so strong for me, sometimes I get sick and vertigo sets in. Lightning lately is extremely violent and not normal, ground to sky or straight down. Judith Linfor, I believe, lives in Louisiana. I'm hoping I'm not mixing up subscribers, but I remember she saying that she sees no bugs in Louisiana. In Louisiana, that is very strange. Missing insects in southwest Virginia near the Blue Ridge Mountains. Wildlife is very scarce in northeast Texas. I've noticed that for months. Birds and deer population, very limited. I'm in rural Oklahoma, and in a typical spring summer, I would go through about 4 to 5 gallons of windshield wash. I've used 1 gallon this year. Also, the buzzards are really picky about the roadkill they eat, and it takes them a while to clean one up. It's very strange. We've been plagued with fire ants, and I've only got a couple of fire ant beds this year. The grasshopper population is thriving. I'm disturbed by the extreme decline of the insects as well. And like you say, few notice, and many that do are glad because to them insects are a nuisance. I noticed that last year. We were out in the woods on a wildlife preserve, and there were no bird sounds, not even insects. Odd, no birds. Haven't heard any birds lately, only a mourning dove. Like birds all disappeared. Dozens of birds several months ago. I just moved up here and I was expecting a lot of wildlife, and I don't even see squirrels. Somewhere in North Carolina? Yes, North Carolina mountains. There have been a lack of insects here in Illinois. I work second shift and I leave my porch light on, and when I come home, there are no insects around my porch anymore. I don't have spider webs around my house anymore. That's what I've been saying that's happening here. You know, I've taken video, I've shown it. There are no bugs. It's completely dark outside. The porch light is on, you know, and normally if you've got porch lights, you've got to clean them pretty regularly because of the bug, splatter or whatever. I've had to just kind of gently wipe the porch lights on the porch. They're clean. There are no spider webs. Actually, there's one in the corner of the porch. One. But yeah, they're killing life. You think this doesn't affect, you just go up the food chain, to the greater animals and to the humans. It affects all of us. Yeah, I don't even see worms here. Minnesota, and in spring it's normal to see the worms everywhere with spring rains, but I've not seen them since previously when he saw it normally. Our weather has been changing, talking with farmers, birds are chattering, needing treats here. Michigan, I've noticed the drastic decrease in insects, most especially the bees. Hardly any here in Michigan. Here, this person writes, most of the missing wildlife can be explained by the increase of coyote populations. Bullshit. That's all I'm going to say. That's ridiculous. I too live in the mountains of North Carolina, and rarely these days do I see much insects. Not even fleas. Yeah, a pod of 97 pilot whales beached themselves in Western Australia, which I included in Alive. But I've been hearing the humming for the last 3 years in the warmer months when I'm outside. It's like a low machinery noise. Have felt the mild shaking while sitting on my deck. I've also felt that restlessness that you're speaking of. My mind seems to be running in different directions. The feeling of being drunk also has been pretty strong. I've asked friends in church, and a few have mentioned it as well. I live in Louisville, Kentucky. I have felt like something is sucking my energy out. My ears have been ringing for the past week. Sounds to me like experiments with sound frequencies. I don't think they're experiments. I think they're just weapons that they're using to kill off life. In Sequin, Texas, I've been noticing small shakings and tiny booms, barely felt and barely audible. Last Saturday, my wife and I went down to Corpus Christi, and the Gulf was not normal. The water was eerily calm. The coast seemed farther away from where it usually is. My family and I frequently travel to the coast, as it's only 2 hours away. I'm noticing a difference. I've noticed that I do wobble a lot and almost fell several times. It was so strange. The chronic pain. The last 2 months, the pain has intensified. Here in the Midlands, UK, feeling tired, dizzy, restless after dark. Everything is hard work. I spend a lot of time in nature and can feel the changes, like walking through mud. Very strange. After reading a lot of the comments, I now know it's not just me. Last August, September, I started hearing a low machinery sound like your refrigerator motor running, but it's everywhere I go. Feeling a slight vibration. Both started at the same time. When I'm sitting, vertigo, an uneasy, got to go feeling. I'll be fine walking across the room, then bam. It's like something has tried to throw me across the room. My body just goes off to the side. My dog doesn't want to stay outside alone anymore. I have been more dizzy, feeling, like if I turn, and I should just be able to turn my body, but it'll go off, to one side. Mild vertigo episodes, nothing horrible, but far more often is the occurrence. And the buzzing gets so friggin' loud here. Now, I have that microwave tinnitus, and I've had it for years and years and years. So it's 24/7. But very often, if I am engaged in something, I don't notice it. I can't not notice it because it's so loud. And that has happened. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's happening right now. I've mentioned it in other lives. So the frequencies are pretty much off the chart now. And they're only going to get more and more off the chart. I mean, this is going to get worse and worse. I'm in Virginia. I felt the same wobbliness. Lost my balance almost 5 times in the last 3 or 4 days. Live in northern New York, near Fort Drum military base. My wife noticed shaking a couple of days ago while she was working at her desk. The desk is glass and metal, and the glass began to rattle on the metal frame. I'm in Ohio, definitely here. Last night I did not sleep a wink. I finally fell asleep about 8:30 this morning. Only 2 hours, then off to work. Rumbling, vibrations. I could not stand the feeling. Feel and hear a weird buzz. South Central Pennsylvania. Couple of weeks now, people have been really troubled about some bizarre oddities we are noticing. They also, in this comment section, talk about how animals are acting very strange. Cows getting aggressive. Deer, a family of deer, walking but looking at the sky. The whole family, even, the little babies. Oh, interesting. I've lived in the same house for 56 years, so I know it like the back of my hand. In the past few weeks, my basement has become a freaking sauna. It's warmer down there than the rest of the house. And it should be cooler down there than the rest of the house. What's happening? Opening up the earth with all of these electromagnetic frequencies that are blasting away from HAARP and HAARP-like and Doppler radar and the high frequencies and the extremely low frequencies and the scalar weaponry that they are using. The humidity coming from the ground, coming into the basement of that house. That's my guess. Everything is upside down, yes. North Mississippi. For the last 3 years, I've experienced humming constantly in my home. A Google data center was built near my home, and the humming has been happening ever since. Sometimes my bed just shakes as if something electrical is running through it from the floor. And I have said that I can feel a vibration from the floor here, and I believe that's why the cats won't come in anymore to the cabin. My grandmother has had cows for 50 plus years. All of a sudden, they are getting aggressive with anyone who comes to fish her pond, which has been par for the course in cows for 35 plus years. They've never bothered a single fisherman. They're literally pushing their poles, tackle boxes into the pond. One guy got bucked and tossed 6 feet in the air. They tossed a tackle box up into a tree. It's the craziest thing I have ever seen happen with animals. Never seen that my whole life. I'm in Tennessee. The only thing we have noticed thus far is weird inversion layers in the atmosphere so that sound travels super far when this has never happened before. Sometimes from the north and sometimes from the west. We can hear the freeways in great detail, even though they're miles away from us. Southeast Louisiana, I have felt movement a few times. I just thought I was crazy, or maybe I missed a huge truck driving past. This makes sense. It's scary. Ground shakes, rattled windows, shook things off the walls. Northeast Tennessee. The storms have gotten much worse. Myself and my son are very ill. In Florida, near Tarpon Springs, very strange low-pitched hum happening almost daily. We get our normal afternoon time for thunderstorms, but the storms are nothing like they ever have been. Northeast Georgia, we hear booms on and off for the past 2 years. Some shake the house, others sound like shotguns, but no shaking. I called police one day when house shook. They were having reports all over our county. The ringing in my ears. Well, interesting. I have also felt strange vibrations. I've been feeling more dizzy lately, or like I'm losing my balance. And I have also experienced at night just feeling anxiety or irritated. My mind seems foggy all over the place. Wow. This is not good. Ontario, Canada, hour west of Toronto. The thunder during the storm period you mentioned was fairly different. Sounds like giant glass balls rolling around above the sky. The thunder here today was really weird sounding. Birmingham, Alabama, very high-pitched ringing in my ears. St. Louis, Missouri, reports of loud booming sounds, unknown origin, ringing in ears. I'm in the mountains of North Carolina, and I felt a shake last night. My dogs even started acting weird. Past couple of weeks, crows keep landing. I'm not even hearing crows. That's what's really strange, because I would hear some crows, and they could be a distance, but you know, it was obvious that it was crows. I don't even hear them anymore. I couldn't sleep. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting here, you know, it's like now 5:30, 6:30 a.m. I should be hearing birds. Not a sound. Nothing. So, past couple of weeks, crows keep landing near me, and walk right up to me and just stand there, look at me in different places, some places that I've never been to before. Birds are behaving differently. I've seen birds recently having to literally be in the shade. Well, that sun it is so ionized, illuminized, it's burning. I live in central Maryland, and the storm we had the other night was nothing short of horrifying. One particular lightning bolt was exceptionally wide that came pretty straight down. My husband felt our house shaking a week or two ago. Northwest Florida near Gainesville, I have noticed the thunder sounding strange. The rumble will start and just keep going. The thunder can go on for hours now. But I think what she's saying is the consistency of the rumble. You'll just hear it. Sometimes it feels like it's going around in circles. Bend, Oregon, felt a low vibrating type shaking, like a very steady earthquake. Yeah, vibration I feel from building at my feet while sitting in chair. I'm on the 4th floor, Gulfport, Florida. So, do we have a problem? Yeah, we for sure have a problem. I'm in central Louisiana, and one night this last week, I noticed I was off balance throughout the night, bumping into equipment and having to brace myself, just like I was drunk or something, only there was no sensation of losing my balance or feeling like I was falling. It was just like a stutter stepped for no reason. Strange to be that off balance. I live in North Middle Tennessee, 40 miles north of Nashville. I've noticed for quite a few years that there are vibrations and humming noises, and they seem to be coming from underground. The outer walls of my house shake moderately. Others in the area don't seem to notice the events. It seems as though it's coming from directly under my house. In eastern Kentucky, Pikeville area, pots were vibrated off stoops. Wow. No shaking here in Georgia, but have noticed the deer are aggressive, trying to attack my dogs. This has happened twice by 2 different deer. A whole lot of people are experiencing their balance being off. Be interesting to read your comments later to see if any of you are experiencing any of this. Because, first of all, it's very important to realize that you're not alone. An awful lot of people are experiencing very, very strange things. And, very often when you try to explain it to somebody or try to share, your experience with somebody, they think you're crazy. Well, you're not. I'm sitting in these like bar stools, and I can feel like an electrical vibrating in my feet, but my feet aren't even on the ground. It might be the metal base of this chair, I don't know, but so, you know, you might have some symptoms, but there's an awful lot of symptoms that I think a lot of people are not recognizing as symptoms. Difficulty concentrating, exhaustion, difficulty, you know, just having cognitive function taking place. Like, I think I just lost my cognitive function in trying to talk about cognitive function. So, Springfield, Ohio, felt shaking a few times the last month. So, I'll put the link in again. There are so many comments that it's really, it's good to hear, you know, from other people, not that they're reporting good things, I'm not saying that, but you know, so many people want to come up with something logical, or, well, it could be this, or it could, and some people just come up with these inane ideas, you know, and I've noticed them in the comment section when I'm talking about the dead zone here. Now, what I'm experiencing here should not be happening. I'm in the mountains. I am in the mountains. I should see squirrels. My cats, are there any mice out there? Apparently not. No bugs. You know, the door is still open. It's humid out. No bugs. No birds. The only sound I hear, in fact, the crickets are quieter. I think they're going on. I don't even know, because the buzzing is so loud in my head. But, and, you know, when you experience this, and it's just not a one-off thing. I mean, this is this area. This is happening 24/7. It's been happening since I got here in October. So I've gone through several seasons: fall, winter, spring, summer. Hardly any wildlife whatsoever. The few deer that I'll see walk through, I haven't seen them in days and days. The cats won't come into the cabin. You know, I mean, oh, and they're, Babe seems the least affected, but he's affected. He'll come in. He runs in and then runs into the shower. And then he starts his meowing, and I've got to go, and I put him on the bed, and I'll lie down with him. But when he hits that floor, Babe, I mean, he's a slug, okay? What Babe does, you might see him sitting up for a while, but usually you just see him laying down. He charges out of the cabin. But Little One and Bandit have been, I think I actually Because I always feel like I have to prove everything. I'm so sick of that. But here. This is this is usually how you see Babe. This is little one licking his paws, constantly licking the paws, or it biting, the underneath portion of the paw, and Bandit is doing that as well. That's a new thing, and do you hear birds? And that's the look of a cat that just has nothing to do. But little one, see, they don't really want to be on the porch floor anymore. And that's Bandit's corner. But now they're like, this is another day. No ants. Where are the ants? No ants. Completely and utterly clean of ants. Which, look, I have fed cats and feral cats outside during the summer and the spring. Ugh, it's a hassle because you have to. What I would do is put a big bowl of water down and then put the cat food in a smaller bowl. The ants wouldn't swim to the bowl, but it was a pain because bugs would just take over. What was that? Oh. Little one was trying to come in and then just hightailed it out.
In those cases, many of the women track their assailants after the attack.
This is what they do now. So something is coming from the ground. Their paws are being irritated and they're just hoping to lick it off. But I've also noticed that some of little one's hair is now missing. Oh, and Bandit has a slight, I think she got something stuck in her eye. This is what little one does over and over and over again. He'll be biting at his legs or licking his paws. This is Bandit. I mean, I can't, I look at the paws. There's nothing on her paws. There's nothing on little one's paws. So, if I weren't here and they were feral on their own, they wouldn't be in this area. They would leave, just as all of the other wildlife has left. This is Bandit. Again, there's nothing here. And that's Babe. Yeah, that's Babe. I just want to eat and sleep. Leave me alone. So, no squirrels. Nada. Nothing, nothing, nothing. It's so sad, that this is going on. It's quite a time we're living, huh? Quite a time. So, I only have 20 minutes left. So why don't I play, and I'm going to put the link in the chat of WHF Entertainment. What was the name of this channel? Oh my God. She had a baby. She wasn't posting for a while, and she's come back. I'm not leaving now until Wednesday. Delays. All right, listen to... I can't stand that I can't remember so much now. I want to put her channel link in the chat as well, because
a 17-year-old biological female.
What's her face? What's her face? What's her face? Thank you, What's Her Face. Okay. What's Her Face Entertainment. If you don't know her, you might want to check her out, and you'll probably subscribe, because she reports on things in a manner that, well, has quite a lot of sarcasm, which I used to have, but she's got it going. Reports on the news in a way that a whole lot of people can handle.
Shoot to kill! Hamaza! Kill the poor! The farmer! Kill the poor!
That's political party leader Julius Malema chanting "Kill the Boer," which translates to "kill the white farmer." He is directly shouting "kill white people" to a crowd of cheering South Africans, and this is what the American mainstream media had to say about it. "Kill the Boer" song fuels backlash in South Africa and US. Right-wing commenters claim that an old anti-apartheid chant is a call to anti-white violence, but historians and the left-wing politician who embraces it say it should not be taken literally. My God, these people hate you even more than I thought. That would all be very nice and easy to believe if this figurative call to violence didn't often lead to real-life consequences. This is a field of white crosses, 2,500 to be exact, one for every white farmer who has been brutally murdered in South Africa.
In the heart of the South African countryside, there is a monument that stands as a solemn reminder of the tragedies that have befallen the farmers and their families. The White Cross Monument, also known as the Plaasmoorde Monument, is tended to by a caretaker named Chris.
The monument was started quite a few years back in the early 2000s to get people's knowledge back and to let them know about the farm murders, so that they can see the count of farm murders that's taking place in South Africa at the moment.
But who has time to raise awareness about any of this when there's an epidemic of Western white people saying funny words with poorly executed Chinese accents?
Select the knee flick, the hoo-hoo, the you-hoo, and the didney.
People like Sujia don't avoid these stories because they're insignificant. They avoid them because they shatter the illusion that racism is exclusive to the West. An imaginary story they've woven not because they want equality, but because they want vengeance. Vengeance for every time they felt othered in a crowd of foreign faces. This feeling is natural because tribalism is natural. It's a survival mechanism that's built into our design. Asking a human being to be completely racially unbiased is like asking them to stop the replication of their cells. You're demanding a failure of an integral human function. Every country wants to preserve its culture and racial identity, and this inherent drive for self-preservation is acceptable in every corner of the earth except the West. White Westerners are expected to observe and respect the culture, religion, and customs of foreign countries, while those same demanding foreigners scoff at the idea of reciprocating.
Kansas. I know, right?
And this isn't an accident, it's an invasion. They don't want your acceptance, they want your servitude. It's just human nature. The truth is that racism will always exist, and there's not a damn thing any of us can do about it. That's the point. I mean, unless, of course, we eliminate our differences. We could get rid of gender and everyone could be mixed race and we could have one world religion and one centralized government, kind of like a new world order. Wait. Alright guys, that's it for me today. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out some other videos from my channel.
In the very beginning, she says something like, Justin Trudeau is separating from his wife, while most of humanity is separating from reality.
Justin Trudeau separates from his wife, while the rest of humanity continues to separate from reality. Welcome to the weekly roundup, where we cover the most diabolical yet hilarious news of the week. Our top...
I like her. Alright, I'll put the link in again to the video, which is 12 minutes. You listen to just a few minutes. She has great delivery. Oh. Interesting. Oregon allows self-serve gas. New Jersey now alone in nanny state prohibition. What? I thought self-serving gas was just in every state, but apparently not. Under a law that took effect immediately. It's interesting how they can get these laws to take effect immediately, except when it does something that's really helpful. Anyway, drivers in Oregon are finally free to pump gas into their own vehicles. Wow, I didn't know you Oregonians were so repressed. Leaving New Jersey. Now, I'm sure. Yes. Or maybe not. Have I just always driven right through New Jersey? Maybe so. It leaves New Jersey as the last state where pumping your own gas is a crime, punishable by a fine of up to $500. Wow. Wow. I didn't know this. Under the new law in Oregon, at least half the pumps must still be reserved for full-service gas pumping. Rightly, stations don't have to offer self-serve, though full-service obviously costs more to deliver. Stations have to charge the same price for both. With over 2,000 gas stations in Oregon, laying off just one employee per location represents millions of dollars a year that giant corporations are not paying in benefits and wages and payroll taxes. It's kind of like self-serve, when at a supermarket. These people are losing their jobs. But it's been so common throughout every other state where you just pump your own gas. Huh. Well, the blue cities. Asians think they can safely pump gas in a blue state? Ooh. Wow, that hit her. Came off. That hit her. Okie dokie. Well, that's why I say, make sure your situational awareness is just on. You have flipped that switch and you keep it on. And when you get out to pump your gas, take the keys with you. Take your wallet with you. Shut the door. Hell, lock it. Have a German Shepherd with you. Whatever. And here, Stu Peters posted this. The earlobes don't lie. This one looks alien. He looks like an alien. Yeah, they have their stand-ins. So, German birth rate falls to 10-year low. Don't know if I included in a live just recently another headline: Japanese birth rate all-time low. Infertility crisis. They're killing off and not replacing what is to become of the world, dominated by hybrids. All right, it is 8:48 p.m. I do hope that all of you stay safe. Let's just check out radar. The swirling landocanes that we have and the fast-moving storms. It's still wet outside, but thank you, weather terrorists, for turning off the supercells before they reach this area. I have no doubt tomorrow we'll come across a whole lot of flooding. People losing their homes, businesses. It's happening every day now. Every day. To your fellow Americans, to your fellow humans all over the world. May you never have to suffer the consequences of the weather terrorists. May you never have to suffer the consequences of the economic terrorists, the invaders, the treasonous. But unfortunately, I hate to say this, but an awful lot of you listening right now, you will be. So, stay very aware, be safe, join the force of good, help those that are in need of help, try to get to know your neighbors, become engaged in your communities, call up the shelters in your area, ask if they need any volunteers, the animal shelters, ask if they need donate. Well, everyone does. Maybe you want to foster a pet. Help out. Help out. That's what we need to do. Find out what's happening with the elderly in your community. And on that note, I say thank you for showing up. I do hope to see you tomorrow night. And good night and good luck. Ciao, guys.